Good news and bad news. Bad news is I didn't get the exact spicy stuff that you wanted. The good news is that I got even spicier stuff here. Tomato pickle. These aren't like what you think of as American pickles, but they're like Indian pickles. We can eat this as we go and see what happens.
I also have something Georgian that is also spicy, tajika.
Red, tasty, and spicy.
What's the wildest hairstyle you've had?
I grown my hair all the way down to my shoulders when I was in college. Other than that, it's been pretty standard.
What about Dan's cooking skills? Overrated or underrated?
You know, I don't actually know if I've eaten something that Dan has cooked yet. I've been to his house for dinner, but I don't know if he cooked that day. So this is a great question. I need to go back and ask him to cook me a meal.
The last lie you told.
I think I just told my daughter that her mom had gone out somewhere when she was actually just hiding in the next room and trying to take a nap. I think that just happened about 15 minutes ago.
That's a sweet lie.
There's a surprising amount of lying involved when you have a young toddler who has strong demands.
The last hidden photo that you have on your phone.
I didn't even know you could hide photos on your phone.
Oh.
Now I gotta go now I gotta go hide some stuff.
What would you hide?
I don't know. I guess I don't have anything that's spicy on my phone that I've been worried about hiding.
I also didn't know you can hide them.
Apparently Taco is the one who has some really spicy stuff here. Maybe we should
Yeah.
ask her.
What's your craziest rave outfit?
2017 Burning Man, I had a steampunk outfit with like a Victorian plague doctor mask on it. It was very in vogue in those days. And the most absurd one was I think I did a Mr. Meeseeks, if you ever watched Rick and Morty. You know the little blue guy who keeps jumping out and replicating himself? I was a Halloween rave costume and then became my standard Halloween costume after
I
that.
think we have to spice up our questions for the next guest
Yeah.
because we need to make people eat spicy things. Let's cook the cocktail and taste it, how it's going to taste.
Now I'm adding ginger as well.
Okay, I'm actually using apple cider instead of whatever was in the recipe.
Do you have a teenage crush?
Teenage crush.
Did you have posters in your bedroom?
I did have posters in my bedroom. This is actually the bedroom that I grew up in.
That bedroom has seen things.
Spent there sometimes. Pretty sure I had posters of I want to say Nirvana and Pink Floyd up.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna join you guys and take like a bite out of this.
So you have a high spice tolerance.
My wife is from Hyderabad, which is a part of India that has probably the spiciest food in the world. So that's the one place where I still struggle a little bit. Oof, this had a kick to it. But other than that, I think I have a pretty good spice tolerance. What's
Okay.
the spiciest thing you've eaten?
Something with cooked with peppers, but I can't remember anything. What about you?
Vegetarian tofu dish with big chunks of chili inside. It was extremely good, but so spicy. At some point I was trying to scrape off the chili from the tofu. That was intense.
Okay, there's a weird backstory to this. There's actually a very specific Indo-Chinese restaurant. Chinese food as prepared in India, but served in America. It's called Red Hot Chili Pepper, and it's actually run by someone I know. They have this one dish, the ghost pepper chicken dish. You actually have to sign a disclaimer, a health waiver, and if you finish it, you get free beer for a week. Obviously, I went there with a few friends of mine from back home. How bad could it be? We ordered it. You're like, this is not bad. I can manage it. And about like 15 minutes into the meal, my fingernails were burning, even though I was eating with a fork and knife. My lips were on fire. Every exposed part of my body was burning. We got a third of the way through the dish and we were like, we can't do this. I drove back home that night. I was genuinely lightheaded. I was like, I don't think I'm sober enough to drive right now.
Okay, it sounds like a challenge that what I'm gonna do when I'm coming to LA.
Being able to tell the future or being able to forecast yourself anywhere.
Being able to tell the future can make a lot of good decisions for yourself and your family if you're able to see what's coming.
What if you can see all the bad stuff happening? Like you can see your own death.
That would, I think, give me a lot of anxiety. I think I would choose ignorance.
A night out with Max Cooper or the XX?
I think it would be Max Cooper. I would just grill him on how he does his visuals. It was one of the most impressive audiovisual shows I've ever seen.
So you're the type of person that will, instead of dancing, get their phone out and film?
You know, I usually find those kind of people annoying and I almost never take up my phone. But with Max Cooper shows, there are these one or two clips that I'm just like, okay, I need to have a copy of this. So I become one of those people.
Wearing a t-shirt and a tie for a night out in Venice or wearing only a tie for a night out in Berlin?
I mean, Berlin is way more fun. So I would definitely rather be at Berghain wearing nothing but a tie.
3 Days Burning Man with Elon or 3 Days Burning Man with Dan?
Ooh. I think in the long run, Dan would be more fun. Like, Elon is just more interesting because I would want to see, like, what he does. But I feel like Elon is the kind of guy who would probably ditch me half a day and to go on, like, a long acid trip somewhere and then just show up at the end completely disheveled. That's, I feel like, the Elon Burning Man vibe. Whereas Dan would be more chill to hang out with and probably do fun stuff the whole time.
I was like, I would be offended for that thought as a co-founder.
Dan at Burning Man would be quite fun. I would love to see that happen.
Your PFP, it's a MF Doom mask, right?
That's right.
References the Gladiator mask.
I think it's originally the Gladiator mask, and then at some point MF Doom adopted it as his mask for his supervillain persona, and it's just a recognizable little thing. Back when I worked in an office, everybody had the same MacBook, and you'd always mix up laptops. I had this MF Doom sticker that I put on there. It just became a staple over all my computers, and then eventually became my PFP.
So this is the lore of your digital identity.
Yeah, exactly.
What if there was like Slay the Spire inspired Farcaster frame game? What would be the most challenging boss fight or card mechanic that you'd like to include?
Can you do something interesting on chain where if you win the game or do a certain thing, you earn items, they can use them to play the game, or if they're no longer playing the game, they can actually resell them to other players and create this little economy.
When you're casting through a non-cast, how do we know that it's you?
I think I non-casted once just like for fun, but it wasn't anything spicy or interesting. It was just me trying out a non-cast, but I haven't actually casted anything spicy yet. If I were to say something spicy, I would not leave any clues.
If you were on board Matt Levine on Farcaster, how would you do that?
The way to get him interested, I think, would be just to get him exposed to a lot of the absolutely crazy stuff that happens in DeFi, because that's just like an infinite amount of interesting material for his daily posts.
What's your all-night coding snack?
A strong coffee, and I have a little bit of a sweet tooth. They sell these little gluten-free brownies at Erewhon, which are my go-to guilty pleasure. I've also recently hooked Dan into that, so both of us usually sneak one of those at lunch.
Finish the line. Are you even a founder if... And
You
then
haven't
finish.
shipped?
When I'm hungry, I
Get cranky?
wish existed on Farcaster.
I wish more interesting games existed on Farcaster.
Dan shares this opinion.
We've talked a lot about gaming and crypto and how like that's actually been one of the things that seem very obvious to me. There's these like massive ecosystems of people selling scarce items, things that look and feel almost exactly like NFTs, and that probably would be even more valuable if they could be freely tradable. But that crossover hasn't quite happened yet.
Do you have some fashion preference that friends, wife, family criticize?
My bias is to be very urban/casual comfort. I've really adopted the Southern Californian dress code.
Tech bro dress
No,
code?
not quite tech pro. I think it's just more like streetwear casual. Tech pro, I think, is the standard Patagonia vest and things. Not quite my vibe.
If someone gifted you a keyboard jacket, would you wear it?
A keyboard jacket? Absolutely. I mean, I'd have to. I love very loud, very ridiculous jackets. I have this giant fuzzy jacket that my wife actually bought for herself. And I was like, this is actually kind of nice and fits me. And then just became mine.
Do you have Venice X?
I think one of the icks is like the ultra modern hippie parent. Like you meet somebody, their kid's name is this very abstract concept. It's not a real name. They're doing the totally natural lifestyle. And a little bit of that is fine, but like when people are 10 degrees out and you're just like, interesting. I don't know that we will have a lot in common other than going to Erewhon.
But at the same time, shopping in Erewhon, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's the thing that brings everyone together, you know?
You're going on 3 dates. Kiss, marry, or kill. First person, on a spiciness scale of 1 to 30, they ask for 21.5. The second person can't fall asleep if they don't listen to Drum Addict as their lullaby. The third one suggests a Lego Mindstorms playdate.
Yes, for the first one on the spicy. Marry for the last one on the Lego Mindstorms playdate. Kill for the dramatic, because I need a lot of quiet to fall asleep. And so that would drive me absolutely insane.
Who would you nominate to join us next?
Have you had 6 on here yet?